Hey,
y'all, we're back. The long-awaited return of the mixtable, season 4. We're sitting down today with DavidTheTragic. Tyrone, how you doing? Talk to these fucking people.
Okay. Let me take it off the rip. If this shit get way too tragic, then you know I'm about to dip. That's how we do in the mix. Been this way since I was legit. Told that girl to know herself, not low herself, cause now she lit. That's how we do in the mix. Been this way since I was legit. Hey, that's how it goes. I'm about to go in here and flip. But she see I'm lit, cause she see who I be with. In the real, I keep it feel. You told it just like I'm big. Hey, ain't got no condo, but still I'm cashing out. And on these beats I'm rapping now. And I got so many flows I can pass it now.
Bro, I just
and
remember you was a
feeling
rapper.
like the casting now. And I'm feeling like I'm finna pass it now. And I'm finna speed it up, going faster now. And if you pick up, I'm passing now. Damn, that's how it had to be. So face reality and actuality. I had to grab the beat, it had to be. It's such a tragedy, and now I had to see. I pass it to my bro so he can smash the beat.
Alright, it took us 4 years to book Dave. Man, that's fucking tragic. Stack my pennies up the harder way. Man, I'm fucking magic. Every time we hit record and dream, that shit's a fucking classic. Stevie to the bullshit, I just wanna get my satisfaction. I'll steal your flow, I'll steal the show. I'll run up on you and steal your dough. Let's line it up, go toe to toe. I keep it moving, no stop and go. But I stop and shop, I make it pop. I bend to the motherfucking mountaintop. Pick up the little cream of the crop. I walk in and them panties drop. I'm too cold, I make them shiver. I walk in, I deliver the mix table, the fish scale, a diamond watch, that's wrist hail. It's Young Seppi, Tyrone, DavidTheTragic, he's on the show. It's season 4, I'm leaning forward. I'll do this shit with no reason for it.
woo, 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 woo.
With that Nina. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
I meant to tell you, your freestyle is really good.
Welcome back to another episode of your favorite show. Not the one on cable, but the mix table. I am your host, Tyrone McClendon. Once again, I am joined here with my co-host, my best friend, Mr. Young Seppi himself.
Thank y'all for coming. Thank you to all of the beautiful people out there that are tuning in. We love you. Thank you for coming.
And to my side here, we have our very special guest for this episode. Longtime friend of the show, longtime friend of mine. And I'm happy to finally have him here, Mr. DavidTheTragic.
Hello, how y'all doing? I meant to tell you, bro, your freestyle is really dope. The one they put on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the one with your favorite people?
Yeah, that shit was hard. I was like, I don't remember Tyrone being a rapper, but he sounds pretty good.
That's, okay, I'll take that. No, it's great, it's great, it's great. I love the compliment, especially coming from somebody like you. It means a lot.
No, you sounded good. You sounded good. How long have you been rapping?
So for me, this is my interview now, I guess. It kind of started as like, you know, like how all people do, back at a school bus with your friends, just like.
So you've been rapping this whole time?
I would, okay, let's not go and say I've been rapping. I don't want to like to use
You've been rapping as long as I've known you?
Probably, yeah.
But you weren't putting it out?
No, and I still don't. It's really just like this. It's like
Fun.
I come up with some shit and I'll be like, damn, that would sound hard. So
that's pretty cool. I like the freedom of that.
yeah, man. Because and also the beautiful thing, the buffer I have, like, because I have friends like you, Jelani, and all this stuff. So it's like I see what it actually takes to be an artist, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I'm cool just making the fun.
I feel that so much. That's how I feel about being a photographer.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like I take decent pictures, but I'm like, I'm not dealing with that.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit's ass. No, I love all my photographer friends. I'm just saying, like, it does look. They just don't credit people appropriately, and then they steal your work constantly, like. And then a lot of times you send people pictures, they won't even fucking tag you. So like,
that's why I started with the bear, because I was like, how can I do
your watermark?
Yeah, I was like, how can I do something that even if they steal this picture, how will I know it's mine? And that's my boy. But really quickly, hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, welcome back to another season of the Mix Table. I am your host, Tyrone McClendon, with my co-host, my best friend, Mr. Young Seppi himself, Mr. Joseph Middledorf. Yeah, as you could see, you know, energy is back with it as normal. I know I've given you a little bit of an introduction, but for the people watching who may not know who you are, tell the people who you are and what it is that you do.
My name is DavidTheTragic. I'm a rapper, recording artist, producer, based out of Atlanta. That was it.
There you go. Perfect. You aced it. So I'm really happy to have you on here, my man, because, well, let me say this. I want to say, because he's been asking me to have you on here since we first started this.
Yeah, literally 4 seasons of this.
Yeah, but I've always been hesitant to approach you with a lot of things because what a lot of people don't know, outside of this, I do like to play journalist, So when I was in school, me and you both were at Georgia State at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So I had a lot of journalism projects that I had to do, and I was like, well, I want to do music journalism, so like the only person I know who I have easy access to is
this nigga.
Yeah, so I would be like, yo, I want to do this story on I did a story on the radio. And I was like, all right, I need like a person's perspective. So I interviewed you for that. Then I took a podcasting class, ironically enough.
Damn, I didn't know they had those at that time. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah. It was a terrible class. But it was a podcasting class. And it was some old fucking dude who doesn't know anything about podcasting. But anyway, I took the class and we had an assignment and we had to make like a 15-minute long podcast. And I was like this close to failing the class. So I was like, I got to show my ass on this final project. So I did like a 50-minute long podcast and I did a breakdown of your album. Don't know. Which one was it?
Bender?
No, before Bender.
Fit In.
Fit In, yes.
I remember this. You called me a sad little boy in his room. Really hurt my feelings, Tyrone.
I mean, it went with the theme. It was on brand. So, I mean.
And that's why I ain't do an interview since.
I mean, hey. But here we are, man. And I'm glad to have you. And it's beautiful to have you here now, though, because I'm
a whole flashback. I remember that shit very deeply.
It was perfect, man. And now, but the beautiful thing is now to have you here, I can see where your story has grown since the last time we spoke.
Just a little bit more lore.
A little bit. My favorite thing is I love saying with all you guys, I love paying attention to your lock journey throughout our friendship and our relationship.
My hair is a lot longer. I'm in braids. Braids now.
You've come a long way.
This, honestly. Yeah.
When I first met you, you were still afro.
Yeah, then they started doing the thing.
Yeah, you just went completely freeform. You were like, it is what it is. Then they started to drop. Then I think when you got your first retwist, I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's when they started hitting,
That boy is in it to win it.
And them just hit my chin and my shoulder,
And now you in it.
Look at me
for
now.
Life. I like asking fellow lock people how long.
These are my second set of dreads.
Really?
Yeah, I had locks before these.
What happened to him?
When I was about 8 or 9, like my mom's boyfriend at the time, like my sister's dad, he was like, "You need to lock that shit up, man." And I just did, and I had dreads from when I was like 8 to about 13.
And what made you want to get them again?
I didn't even necessarily want to. I just had a fro through high school, and I used to finger comb it so it wouldn't like lock, and I just stopped. And then the back locked up, and then I started wearing like a headband, and the front locked up, and I just kind of let it vibe, and then here I am. And I think my hair was kind of trained because I had dreads when I was younger too. Yeah. To lock back up.
Do you plan to keep them for? How long do you plan on keeping them?
That's a good question. The past prior to 8 months ago, I was like, I want to cut my hair.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking about it for like two years.
What was the reasoning behind that?
Either cutting it off or cutting it down. I guess I like my hair right now because I'm in braids and there's really less dreads and they're shorter. So I don't like how many locks I have, and I also would be like, these shit's too long.
I get the same way. I'd be like kind of like imposter syndrome about my dreads. I'd be like, damn, like I don't have enough. I'd be trying to make certain styles. I'd be like,
no, I got hella dreads, bro. I got so many dreads that like I'm in these 3-strand braids and like I still have hella dreads.
Because yours started off really skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
How do you feel about your locks?
I like them on bagels, cream cheese. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, hair journey. That's crazy. I've been on it for a while.
Yeah, you have. I feel like me and you kind of both entered the long hair phase at the same time.
He's beating you, so.
He definitely. Well, I've cut my hair twice, so.
I've cut the ends because they get all frayed and shit.
Cut the split ends off.
Had to do it, but yeah, that was my goal sophomore year of college. I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair out. I'm gonna not fail out of school, and I'm gonna go to the gym. And I did 2 of the 3.
That's so funny. That's the opposite for me.
What were yours?
Well, in college, I feel like my first year of college, I did really good. I had like a 3.5. Second year, though, I was like, oh, I'm a rapper. And then I went through some like really hard shit, like the end of the first semester, and then that second semester, I was zoned out really. And I was failing my shit. And I was going to class, but I was going to class high as shit. And then COVID happened.
So what was even your motivation for like going, like, did you...
Going to school?
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to do. and I was too scared to like be like I want to be a rapper.
That's
so
real.
I felt like it was a good like in between space. I could go to school, be a rapper, live in the city. You know what I mean? But also like give myself some time to figure out like what is it I'm on. I was a film major. Yeah.
Is that what you thought you wanted to do?
No.
I mean, well, you knew you were scared to be a rapper, but as far as like what you were telling
film
people,
was just the only thing I was like somewhat into.
Okay.
That I would go to school for. That wasn't some bullshit. Like I think I was a film major, women's gender studies minor or some shit. Yeah. Yeah. I fucked with. I liked what I liked about college though. So like I like the proximity to people, and I do like learning. Yeah. But like I also don't like how much it costs.
Yeah, that's real. But I like what you said though, that you were like, I was too scared to say what I really wanted to do, so I just kind of said what I knew what would make.
That was literally how
I was appeasing for sure. Like
Yeah.
the people around me, like like my family, like my mom, my dad. I was always like naturally just good at school. I wasn't like genius, but like I was always just. School was never hard for me.
Yeah.
So there was an expectation for me to like go to school. It was like, you're gonna go to school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I felt like I had to do it. You know what I mean? If I could go back, I would say I might do it again though. Just because like the opportunities I got in those 2 years by networking, like it's just I still reap the benefits from it today.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know Jelani if I didn't go to school.
I'm real big on using college, not letting college use you. You know, like take that time there, network, understand why are you here, you know, because a lot of people just same thing. I'm just doing this because this is what mom said, this is what dad said.
That's literally how I was a petroleum engineering major, and
sounds ass.
Yeah, but when you talk to adults and you're like, I'm going to school for petroleum engineering, they go, oh yes,
what a smart young man.
Yes, that's very smart and responsible. And I was terrified. I've been playing music since I was 3, and at 18 was like, yeah. I didn't want to have those fucking conversations with people where I had to, like, now I'll tell people, oh yeah, I'm trying to be a rapper and I've got a podcast and I'm doing this and that. And they'll be like,
no, it sounds ass.
Yeah. And they'll be like, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Like, I feel like saying I wanted to do music, like, a lot of my family, like, especially like, well, most they'd be like, oh, that's cute or whatever, you know what I mean? Until I signed an indie deal a few years ago. And then it was like, after that, I felt like people were like, oh, you're doing it. And I feel like that's so interesting. You know what I mean? Like once a white man co-signs you, it's like, oh, nah, you got it. But before that, it's like, oh, nigga, what you doing?
Yeah.
But you could be in a whole bad deal and people be like, oh, you having your way. Like you signed. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's very interesting to me. You know what I mean?
And the funny thing is, like later on when you like, oh, you got fucked out of your deal, they'll still call you stupid again. They'll be like, see, you shouldn't even, you know, this, that, and this. So you can't really appease everybody.
You can't win for losing, my boy.
Exactly. So how did you get over that? Like, how did you, because I'm assuming it was a little hard at first to be
not
like,
do school?
Or yeah, to tell your folks like, this is what I'm doing.
Well, I live with my mother.
Okay. Same.
Like that's who I grew up with. My mother and my grandmother and my I have more sisters, but like the sister I grew up with, Heaven. So that's like my immediate family I see the most. And my mom has always been super supportive of what I do because she sort of had similar passions. And in a way, I'm like living out her dream. So like she was, at first she had a lot of anxiety towards me not doing school because she just always imagined me graduating and shit because I could. Like I could do it. I could still do it because I know I am smart enough.
Yeah.
But like I told her like I could always go to school. I only have one chance to do this. So you know what I mean? I'm only gonna be this young for this. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Like, so personally, I just felt like I owed it to myself to give myself a chance to like chase what I actually want to do.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be 30 and be like, damn, what if I took that opportunity and not did it? Like, I don't want to be one of them niggas. Like I'd rather crash out now.
Yeah. I always have time to be boring in the future if I want to.
Yeah. And I honestly, I just don't like, I'm very passion oriented. Even now, like my entire existence revolves around like my work. You know what I mean? I don't really live outside of it. So like, it's hard for me to like work hard doing other things I'm not passionate about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's very interesting you say that because, you know, we were talking beforehand that I work with like high schoolers a lot. And a lot of things that I try to push on them a lot is like, bro, just follow the passion. I was like, all these other things people trying to tell you to do, like, oh, you gotta go to college, you gotta have this. I'm like, no, the biggest advantage you can have over anybody is just knowing what you want. Because if you know what you want and where you want to go, all that other bullshit doesn't matter. Like it's
and generally stop taking advice from people whose lives you wouldn't want to have.
That's a great point. I would say to add on that, like, having a passion, like you said, is the most essential thing. And like I feel like a lot of people make decisions based on people, whether it be their support system or like whatever, friends, whatever, or like just being too caught into like what you're supposed to do, like what you're taught growing up, that they end up living unhappy lives. I feel like a lot of our parents, like in their generation, like they were raised to go to school, or you got to get a job, you got to work until you're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that reflects in how their attitudes are now, even towards young people. I feel like that's where the resentment stems from.
Yeah.
Because they weren't given the opportunity. People weren't telling them you could do what you want to do. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you got to get a job you hate and work that bitch till you die. You know what I mean? Type shit. Like, so I feel like that's what I like about like this sort of generation of kids. You know what I mean? Like starting like at around our age and younger now. You know what I mean? I feel like we're more bound to quit a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for real though, like I done quit hella jobs and just be like, I'll get another job. Opposed to back in the day, be like, you better work that fucking job. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I see how easy it is for that bitterness you were talking about to like come in. Cause I'm 26 now and I'm working with some people pursuing similar things that are like 20. And I'm looking at them and I'm just jealous. Cause I wasn't able to admit to myself until I was 22 that I wanted to do this. And I see that they're 20 and already like 2 or 3 years in, and I'm like, damn. But if like, I had but I can imagine if I was like 50 and just now being like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll start my dream. I would hate.
But to counter your point, like I feel like your path is not linear.
Nah.
So sometimes it can feel like that, especially in terms of age. Cause I had that feeling sometimes too. And even though I've been recording and like making shit since I was like 12. Like 10 years now, effectively, I've been trying to do this. You know what I mean? Like, but like I still be seeing people way younger than me, and like, you know, but like we're all like on a different path and journey. You know, Jay-Z ain't get popping until he was in his 30s, type shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's hella examples of like very important people in entertainment or in any industry that didn't get their shit moving until they was way older. So it really, you know, it's all relative.
But it's less from a result standpoint and more I'm just jealous of the courage that they had to like be 17 and be like,
nah, a different point. I understand that.
Fuck it, I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, damn, I spend another 5 years like miserable at school trying to figure out like how am I gonna make a life that I don't want to like kill myself living every day.
I've been working on being more positive lately, and that's something like I've been patting myself on the back for, is like my persistence. I feel like throughout all the shit I've gone through, like whatever it is, like I've just remained consistent. You know what I mean? Like I've had a lot of opportunities to, I guess, quit, and maybe I feel like it all the time, but I just never do it. So like, you know.
What do you think makes you keep coming back?
I have this obsession. I'm obsessed. I just want to be the best version of myself in this space that I can be, which is like specifically like rap music, not rap music, but just music, like being a songwriter, being a producer, being an A&R, being a composer. Like I just feel like I have so much to bring in terms of value. Like I'm obsessed with just topping myself every single time, and that's what keeps me going.
How rigid is your definition of like best, successful, and yourself? Like how often does that definition change?
I was just talking about this the other day. Like I feel like I have a gift and a curse. So my gift is like, a curse is I'll never be satisfied, ever. You know what I mean? No matter like how well I'm doing, I'm never satisfied. So like it gives me this drive to always strive for something else. And the curse of that is like, obviously I'm never satisfied.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that is my motivation. Like just trying to outdo myself. Because every time I drop something good, like every time I get a good response, I'm not looking at it. I'm just thinking like, damn, can I do this shit? Can I do it better? Can I do it again? You know what I mean? I don't ever really get too full of myself.
Yeah.
Or too indulged in the idea like, oh, I'm having my way. Cause I just know, like, I've just been around a long time. Like, I just know that shit's all relative. Like, it could be there for you one day, and the next day, if you fucking around, like, that shit be gone. You know what I mean?
It's so funny. Just recently, there was a J. Cole interview. He basically gave like both sides of what you're saying. He was saying like, I have what I have because I have like a delusional level of self-confidence. Like the things I want, most people I would tell them, they'd be like, you're insane, you can't want it. But I believe in me and I want it so bad that I can get these things and I attain it. But on the flip side of that, he was like, the one thing I wish I could have lived a simple, boring life. Like I wished I could have been content with making $50,000, $60,000, coming home to my wife and kids and just going on vacation
Just living, yeah.
Yeah, he was I wish I could have been that person. He was like, but you know, I'm not. But it's interesting coming from somebody like J. Cole, because you're like, you literally have it all. Like, how could you say like you wish?
And that, like, that's the...
His ass lying, too. He don't wish that shit. Niggas be bullshitting in them interviews. Yeah.
It sound nice.
But that's the idea I've been trying to work towards myself, is because I recognize that same thing. Like, I'm always... It could be better. It could be bigger. It could have done more. I could have, like... My dad was real big on, like, you could always... You come home with a 92, it could have been a 95, it could have been 100, you could have done more. And I realized that's kind of in me a little. So I've been trying to get on this idea of just like stop at fulfillment. The idea of enough. Like, I don't have a concept of it yet, but I'm trying to like create enough for me. Like I'm trying to make a line where I'm like, if I can just get here, it's cool.
And I think that's good, because it's all about, you know, how people are like, you know, even if you don't feel a way, just like pretend you are, and after a while you might actually.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same thing, like if you set an arbitrary, even if you don't believe that it's enough, if you just consistently work towards it, I feel like that's what
makes my psychology ironic too, because like I have an idea of like what is enough for me, like as far as like monetary, but I guess in reality, like obviously like money is cool, but it's just not my goal. So like, for example, like I would be okay just being a touring act. Just an act that can tour and make his money. Like I would be fine with that. Like, you know what I mean? As far as like just how big I would be. Like, you know what I mean? I have aspirations of like always, I feel like I have the potential to always make a big song that could break through how weird I am.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've shown that even in like my small sample size. Like I've always been able to, even if a nigga feels like all my shit weird, there's always been one song I feel like on everything I've dropped that can like break through. But like having that ability, being able to help the acts around me, and just growing as an entire like human, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like that's what my real admirations. And making music, obviously, that's better than the music I made before.
Right.
But I'm not necessarily as like focused on material things. Does that make sense? Like I'm not, I want to be a billionaire. Like that shit don't really move me.
You're finding your own definition of success, because a lot of people like those things, billionaire, platinum album, like those are other people's definitions of success, and we adopt them because we're like.
And when you have like a really rigid definition of what success is, like only one thing is right, and literally everything that's not that is wrong. Like you can only do one thing or you're a failure. And if you've got just more, like what is it? What is it? And I apologize if I'm misreading, but I feel like if you got to the point where you couldn't just go outside, like you had to go out with people, like the paparazzi is around you. I don't know if you would like that. I don't know if I would like it either.
Yeah. And I honestly don't see that for me. I have a issue with my humility. Like I don't really, my perception of myself is kind of skewed from my reality.
Yeah.
But I don't really see myself being that type of act. But I guess something I'm learning too, like I was watching this fucking Tony Yayo interview with Vlad, and he was like, 50 told me like, once you sign that dotted line, you public property. And that shit really stuck with me, because I've experienced that in a microcosm before.
Yeah.
Where like maybe I'm going through some real life shit, but it becomes like it's public information due to like what I do. You know what I mean? So like I'm not in love with the idea of being famous necessarily.
Yeah.
But I also understand like it's not really my option. If I make a big song by accident, I could get really big.
Yeah. Even
though that's not even my personality type, you know? Mm-hmm. It's out of my hands at this point is what I'm saying. Yeah.
And that's, I think, the level that I'm looking in my own life in entertainment. I'm looking to get to the point where people that know me, but everybody else doesn't. Like people that know and like my shit, like come and they're like, oh shit, it's Seppi, it's Joseph, it's that guy. But like 9 out of 10 or 900 out of 99 out of 100 people walk by and I'm just like some guy. But the people that recognize me are the people that are like, I fuck with what you're doing. But it's not, I don't have people that like their whole personality is hating me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Getting out, like getting big enough that people just like, oh no, I just hate that guy, fuck him. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a spectacle.
It's also a reality I feel like I have to do it just due to like, I feel like I'm polarizing. Cause I've experienced it even like in whatever capacity I have now. Like,
right.
I'm gonna be a polarizing act. You know what I mean? I feel like since I've been making shit, it's either niggas fuck with me or they do not. You know? So that's also something I had to get comfortable with.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be the guy everybody likes. You know what I mean?
Right.
It is.
But honestly, I feel like, well, let me ask you, is there kind of like a comfortability in that, and like it's either this or that, because you don't have to deal with a lot of like the in-between folks, the fair weather, like we fuck with you one day, the next day we don't, you know?
Well, sorta and sorta not, because like even like I've experienced like, still not big at all, but like last year I've had my biggest year since the pandemic, I would say. And like a lot of people would come up to me and they would tell me like, you're doing so well, and I would be thinking like, damn, that's funny. Not cause like I don't appreciate it, but like I'm not doing that well. Like, you know what I mean? It's all relative. Like, and that's one thing I think is funny too. Like a lot of this shit is I say it all the time to my friends. Like if they hear this, they're gonna be like, okay, nigga, like optics matter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're usually based, like people turn optics into reality.
Yeah.
So when I said, I mean, it doesn't really matter what happened. It just matters like what it looked like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like my issue this whole time has been like acting like something I'm not yet. I have a hard time doing that. You know what I mean? Like even though people think I'm having my way, it's hard for me to feel like that because I'm broke. You know what I mean? I don't have shit. You know what I mean? I know I'm talented, but I also am aware of like what success actually looks like, because I've seen it in front of me, away from me. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know what it is actually. So it's really hard for me to like pat myself on the back or like be gassed up. Cause I see a lot of acts like they reach a bit of success like historically in music, especially like specifically rap music. Like I see people like they get a little bit of success and it gets to their head, and then it's like you don't even fulfill the potential you're supposed to have because you're so busy being like gassed up. You know what I mean? Down here, when the real goal is to be like up here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And I think a lot of people's motivation is just for once somebody to be like, hey, good job, you did it. And you get that first thing that pops and you're like,
that's a good point. That's not mine, but like that's a good point. Yeah.
They got it and it's like, well, shit, now what? Like I never really thought this would happen, because as I realized I'm scared to be happy, because like then what? Like what do you do then? Like how do you decide what to do? Like not making it is the shit that keeps me going. And like,
yeah, that's funny. That's not what keeps me going. Like, cause I just know it's fucked up to say. I'm not gonna be satisfied. I could have my song could chart, Drugs could chart Billboard #1 right now, and I'd be like, fuck, how am I gonna do it again?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just the type of nigga I am, just to my core. So
that
like,
one went #1 on my phone though.
Nice. My biggest song today, yeah.
Beautiful. So I actually kind of want to, so based off what we're saying, we spoke a little bit beforehand. We were talking about like, you know, with this music industry thing, as you're learning now, as you do it more and more, that the actual music making process is probably the least important part of the whole thing. So how have you been dealing with that? Like, did you even know that coming in? And then how have you been dealing with like wrestling with that reality now, especially with you not wanting to do anything outside of that?
I mean, when I came in, I was a fucking teenager, like preteen. So like, no, I wouldn't say I knew that, but it's something I learned quickly that, I don't know, a lot of other things are at play. You know what I mean? Like whether it be image, we talked about earlier, like I feel like the cosign is an underrated like part of it. You know what I mean? Type shit. Like people act like that doesn't matter sometimes, like, but it's everything in a sense. I feel like in order to really grow as an act, like you have to have a team. I think a lot of people display an image of like, I did this by myself, but that's just never accurate. And I feel like it portrays a kind of inaccurate description of like what you need to get on.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a lot of young folks making music like that think they can do it alone, but in reality, a lot of people they look up to saying they doing it alone are not doing it alone.
Yeah.
So I don't really. That's something I had to learn. I had to relearn what independent was. You know what I mean? I thought independent was like it's just me and this bitch. But what I'm learning is like a lot of independent acts. Like for example, I'm signed to an indie label, like +1. You know what I mean? But like people would still consider me an indie act because I'm not signed to a major.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's something I didn't know. But it's just like, and I guess that leads into like what you initially asked, where it's just like there's just a lot of stuff I feel like we don't know as artists and as just people, as outsiders, that I wish like people shared information more.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a lot of gatekeeping involved of information, and I don't really understand why.
Insecurity and capitalism.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Because if we hold the secrets, you have to come to us to get them.
Yeah, and that's something I don't care for, and that's something like I hope to be in the future. Like, I guess that's, if we want to talk about end goals, that's really my end goal. I want to create some type of like structure, infrastructure for acts like me, specifically like black acts that don't make shoot nigga music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
Cause like I don't have a label I can go to that really deals with a nigga like me. I'm like in this in between where it's just like, oh, all the labels with black heads, they only really sign like niggas like that. You know what I mean? And then all the labels like that fuck with me, they're like these indie labels that have rock bands and shit that don't even necessarily know what to do with a rap act when they have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So like I want to create something for like the weirdo. It's specifically like the minority weirdo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do believe if I was a white guy, my music would be perceived a lot differently. You know what I mean? I feel like it would be seen as a lot more innovative. Like, and I don't know, you can take that as you take it. I just feel like that's the truth.
I mean, even really genre dependent. Doesn't really matter if you were white. It would definitely be.
Yeah, I feel like, cause I know I'm doing something unique. Like, cause that was my first goal. I wanted to be original, and I've achieved that. But in achieving that, like, I've almost displaced myself because I now lack a true reference point, if that makes sense. And I realized that's something I realized too. Like that should be mattering. Like who is your comp? You know what I mean? Like when you go in these meetings, they be like, they give out 4 artists. Oh, he sounds like this, and that. You know what I mean? Like type shit. And then like when they can't put you in a box, like it makes it a lot harder for the traditional like label infrastructure to like market you correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And think about like how much energy does it take to like walk along like the curvature of the earth? Like you can just walk around like you're following like the flow of things, but if you want to go up, you want to go a different direction, you want to go out instead of with, you got to build rocket engines. Like how high can you jump? Like you can't get that far off the earth without like, and when you try to do something different, you try to do something that's out.
My bad. This analogy is fucking crazy, bro.
That's out of the mainstream. Like you don't need a car engine. You need a fucking jet engine to like.
Nah, that's really real. And I think that is kind of like you said, it's the catch-22 of trying to be the original artist, because then it's like, all right, well, so what are you then? And it's like you can't describe it. So it's funny you say that though, because I was gonna ask you like what are the ones that you say when the labels, or do you even say anything when they're like, all right, who would you say is your contemporaries?
That's a good question. Cause the people I'm about to name, like I don't necessarily feel like I sound like them. So I'll give an example.
Okay.
With drugs, like my song, like when they post me on TikTok, like those pages, they'd be like, oh, he sounds like Lucky, Playboy Cardi, Ken Carson, Yeet. But in reality, like if you have followed me through the years, like it's not what I sound like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some spots. I feel like the closest thing on that list of niggas is probably Lucky. I feel like I adapt some of that, but even if you listen to us like side by side, you'd be like, you know what I mean? I tried it. Well, there was a point in time where I was trying to emulate an energy Cardi like gave out as far as like less words, more energy. But even that, like I don't feel like I sound like Cardi at all. Like you know what I mean? Like so like I guess like we be telling niggas like what, like Smino, as they ever shot. But even like them niggas like
they
still
don't
not
really,
me. Yeah, like so it's just I don't know, nigga.
I knew you were really having your own thing when I go on YouTube and you have your own type beats. Like there are DavidTheTragic type beats. And I
was actually seeing it. I was like, damn, I would have never imagined this when I was younger.
But that's cool though. I think that's a true testament to like you really carving out your own sound and lane.
And like not to go on like a rant, but like
no, please
it's
go on
something
a rant.
like I don't know. Something I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to be more positive now. So I do pat myself on the back because I never imagined myself being here. And that's more of a product of like my lack of self-esteem. But like I just never saw myself even getting this far. So sometimes you do gotta, you know, appreciate the journey. And like when I was in high school making shit, because I've been making shit. Like niggas, they all just said that shit was hella weird and shit. So I was just like, damn man, I'm just hella weird. And I am hella weird, but like it doesn't mean like I'm not very talented as well. And I feel like I have carved the lane. And I feel like at this point, I am influenced. Like I feel like I've been influenced other people, and like I influence myself. Like you know what I mean, and like that does matter too, even though that's not like necessarily like money. You know what I mean? All the time,
No, that's real. So I guess we can just so we have it. I want to get a little bit into like how you got into music, how this journey first started. So what was your first introduction to like music making?
I had a friend in middle school. My friend Kari. He had
Kari who?
Jakari Green.
Okay, never mind.
You don't know this nigga. Shout out to name Kari though. He had a studio at his crib. His dad had a studio like in the downstairs, like in the extra room. And he been rapping since he was like 7 or 8 or some shit. And they been pressing me to like make a song, but I didn't know how to do that shit. But like him and like the homies, they like pressured me. And, like I didn't even really know how to write yet. They helped me write my verse and shit, and like I recorded the first time. That shit was hot ass, but it was like the first my opportunity. And after that, I just started working with him a lot, just making shit. I wasn't even telling people yet. I wasn't even putting shit out. I didn't even tell my mom for a while, like type shit.
So that first time though, you were like, I fuck with this shit. Like you.
I was unsure because well, you know, y'all make music. Like it's weird at first. You know what I mean? Listening to yourself, like. Also, like, figuring out what you want to sound like. At that time, I was 12. My voice wasn't this deep. So, like, I was, like, making it deep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, type shit. Like, a lot of that was involved, like, you know. But through, like, the work, I found, like, a passion. Because I think I've naturally always been eclectic and, like, had some inclination to make something. It just turned out to be that, yeah.
So at what point, so from the jump though, when you were starting, you were showing it off with your friends, they were hearing it and stuff like that?
Yeah, I wasn't showing many people at first. And then like, I think I started showing my mom. And that's like when I was around 13, 14. I think I recorded a song with like my uncle Jared in his house. So we made a song and shit. And at that time, like, that's when I think started doing more spot gigs, like open mic shit like that.
Really?
My mom was like sort of managing me for like maybe a year or two, and she had some connections with like old Dungeon family. So like I had a few sessions with like Rico Wade.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I made a few songs with him then and shit too.
And so this is all at 13,
14, 15, like around there.
So at this point, are you thinking like, oh, this is what I want to do? Like it's.
I mean, I'm doing it, but I'm still like unsure, cause like my issue, my whole like time doing this is like I never thought I was him. Yeah, which is kind of like embarrassing, I would say, but also just the truth. Like, I just never thought it was me. You know, like, I like doing it, but I always looked at other people and was like, I don't have that. You know? Yeah. So like, I was really unsure, and I was also scared to really make the leap for real. So I was making music all through school, but I wasn't really showing people at school. And then when I did start showing people, like I got an adverse reaction because like obviously I grew up in the Metro Atlanta area, and like I wasn't making what you would hear on the radio. So like there was a bit of like, what is this? Or like I would be posting my music, I had niggas like unfollow me and shit. Like, nah, that shit all hurt my feelings too. Yeah, you remember, nigga. Like, and like,
I'm sorry for you.
No, like, and I internalized every bit of it, honestly. And so like it made me scared to like really make that leap for real. But like when I got into high school, I was still recording, still making shit all the time. I was dropping mixtapes on SoundCloud. But then my junior year, I spent like 6-8 months working on an EP called Nature World with my friend Kari. And like I was just working on that shit, and that was the first tape I really showed people like in my like school. Yeah. You know what I mean? And people received it really well, and it gave me a big confidence boost going into college.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so once I got to college, especially like, you know what going to college is like, you get to kind of rediscover yourself without like maybe the weighing down of like high school or middle school friends, people that know you since you was a kid. So I got to like rediscover a new confidence. That I got to recreate who I was, you know what I mean? And I leaned into the music hard, and I started meeting people, and I started performing way more, and like that shit really changed like my trajectory, I would say. For sure, yeah, going to college. And that's why I don't regret, even though I'm in debt. Like, I don't regret it, because like I don't know if I would be in the position I'm in right now without it.
Yeah, I can honestly say, just from my perspective and from what I've seen, like I have seen the confidence in you grow from the time when I first met you to today. And I just see little things that you do that it's like, okay, I'm seeing him become more comfortable with whoever, whatever it is that he's trying to be, whether it be when you're on stage, whether it be when you're recording, or just like the final polished products that you put out. I'm like, this is somebody who is doing something and they're 100% sure in what they're doing.
Because I remember we went to one of your shows maybe 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
2021.
Was that the one
Taylor
in Jelani's
Breeze?
thing?
Yeah,
Jelani's show.
I
was just talking about that show. I love that show.
Yeah, I don't remember the venue.
I did a good job of that show. It was 992. I love that show.
Yes.
And I remember, like, I walked away. You were the person. Like, I followed some other people that I hadn't met that performed, but like, that was like your performance there stuck with me. But I look at that versus what I see you post on Twitter now. Like, I look at your concert footage now, and like, there has just been a huge, I don't know, you, as you were saying, you've just kind of stepped into yourself. There's not that layer of apprehension behind it anymore. It's like, we're just fucking going for it because there's no other option. Like, we've just got to fucking do it. And
yeah, my balls deep now. I ain't really got no choice.
So let me ask you this though, because you've mentioned it a lot, like, you know, this confidence didn't come to you naturally or whatever. So I want to ask, what about your support system, or if you even have one? Like, where do you go when you are at your low, when you are feeling down? Like, where do you go? What do you turn to?
My friends believe in me more than me. Yeah, which is funny disposition, because I believe in my friends more than I believe in myself. So like, I feel like the people around me through the years, changing, different people, but have always been the ones that like instilled confidence in me. You know what I mean? Because I had a really hard time, still do, instilling confidence in myself. You know what I mean? I would say even the confidence I portray a lot is an act, especially live, I would say. You know what I mean? It's more like I'm playing a character, but naturally, I don't know if I'm necessarily as into myself. You know what I mean? So like, I would say like, my support system has helped me tremendously just stay above water. You know? Because I do have my persistence, like I expressed earlier, but at the same time, like, a lot of times I'll be like, damn, bro, like, this shit not working out for me. You know what I mean? So like, people around me help me continue to like move forward. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's where I'm at with it now, where it's just like, I don't really have a choice, in my opinion. You know, like, this is what I do. This is what I'm good at. I don't see myself doing anything else. I'm not passionate about anything else. You know what I mean? So like, yeah.
What you were saying with like, it's an act, it's real, it's not that's I've really liked about like pursuing art, pursuing shit, like the young Seppi character. It lets me, like, I realize some of it is an act and some of it is stuff that like I just wasn't confident to do as Joseph. I can try it on as young Seppi, and I like take bits of the shit that I try on and like add it into my personality, but I get to like do a dry run. Oh no, that was just you know, that was a tape, that was a this, that was a that. And it lets me detach myself from myself.
I relate to that. I have an example. Like, I definitely, making music made me a lot more confident as a person. My example would be like, I was really scared to perform live when I first started. That was really my real apprehension. Like, oh, I don't know if I could be a rapper, because like going live, this sounds fucking crazy in front of people. You know what I mean? I was so scared of that shit. But like, once I did it, like, I just became so much more confident in other areas. Like, the example I have is like basketball. Like, when I was growing up, I played basketball. I started late, like 5th grade, but I played basketball through middle school, and I would make teams, but like, I would be scared in the game. I didn't really have confidence. Yeah. So I would present a lot more like ass than I actually was. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I was like a practice dude or a trial guy. Like, I would be there, but like when the game hit, I would get scared. But like, once I started like performing, especially, like, my confidence, like, it like kind of wade through everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even didn't like pick up basketball. I'd be like, damn, I wish I had this confidence when I was like fucking 11 or 12. I'd probably be a different person. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's something else I love music about. I really felt like it helped with my sense of self and like just being sure of myself a lot more. Yeah. Or at least acting like I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's weird. I wish, like, sort of the flip of I wish I had the confidence that I had when I was 10. Like, cause I've been playing music for a very long time. I've like performed in front of big shit as a child. And then like at 17, 18, I got like kind of self-aware. I was like, oh, I'm in it. Like, I exist. Like, people can see me, all this. And like my confidence, I guess it was really like just going into high school, puberty, high school, all that shit. And I was just like, I got really in my head about it. And I've spent the last 10 years basically trying to break out and get back to, because I would show up. I love to be the kid. I wanted the ball in the 9th inning. I wanted to take the last shot. I wanted to be the one up on the stage making people watch. And then that faded on me. But I realized because it was built on shit that I didn't really have. It was built on what had been told to me. And then as I found myself and was like, oh wow, like the world is not just my perception of it. I was like, all of these things where I've just made these assumptions, like this is it, this is how I am, this. It wasn't. And I realized all that confidence was based on just nothing. And I've been trying to find it.
So one of the final things I wanted to ask you is, you know, I'm sure in your travels you come across a lot of other artists who come to you and secretly are like, bro, I'm scared as shit. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. So what do you say to people when you see them in a similar position to you? What do you say to them?
I don't know if I've necessarily heard somebody tell me I'm scared as shit, but I tell most people, like, it's really just resilience. That's all it is. Like, I was talking shit about this to I think I was on the phone with Jelani like a month ago. Like, it's so funny, like niggas tell us all the time, even though how long niggas been doing it, they be like, bro, just keep going. And like, it's annoying as fuck. It be making me want to slap the shit out of niggas sometimes, but like, it's so true, bro. You just gotta keep going. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You gotta continue to move forward. And like, if you believe in yourself and you work how you're supposed to, it will work out for you. Now, I can't tell you a timeline because that's just
just on you.
That shit up to God, nigga.
Right,
like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But I can tell you, like, if you work at it like you supposed to, you know what I mean? And you put that time you supposed to in it, because a lot of people be cheating the game. You can't cheat it, bro. You gotta put that shit, what do they call it, whatever, 10,000 hours in for real. Like, and if you do that appropriately, like, it will work out for you. Like, and that, at least that's what I try to believe.
No, that's real. That's real.
Because most of the people that are like in it right now are just the people that have managed to hold on. Like, they haven't quit. They are still in it. A lot of times when people blow up, they people gonna enter like, oh, this is a one-hit wonder, or like they just industry plant. But a lot of times, like, these motherfuckers been working for years, bro.
Yeah.
You just didn't know who the fuck they was.
Yeah.
I'll give an example, which is kind of funny, but even Jack Harlow, right? Jack Harlow signed a deal like 8 years ago, something like that. I'm probably inaccurate, you know, wiki facts, but he was on some artist development shit for like 4 or 5 years before you got a breakout song. You know what I mean? Type of shit. And I bring up that example to say, like, it's all relative. Even somebody that can feel like, damn, they got big out of nowhere. It's like, nah, like, you just don't see the work. You know what I mean?
Doja was in the industry a decade before.
Doja fucking reposted one of my songs when I was like 15.
Wow.
Right? And dead ass, like, you know what I mean? So I've known about Doja Cat forever. And like, think about how long it took her to like,
and off a joke song,
off Moo.
And I relate to that in a way, because like how long I've been working on this, and I feel like the songs that I've had the most, like, I feel like staying power have all, not even staying power, but the most impact have been like songs I don't necessarily put the most thought into. Yeah. Like last year it was Drugs and Dip, like, and niggas don't even know I made the beat for Dip. Yeah. It is like that little fucking 8-bar or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So like, it's funny how this shit goes, but like, you can't take, in my opinion, you can't take none of this shit personal. You can, but you're not gonna have a good time.
You're not gonna make it out the other side if you do. Right. So when in the journey did you start producing?
I started producing like 2.5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The end of December of 2020.
What? Well, I'm gonna guess, because I feel like this is a story for a lot of people why you started producing. You wanted people to make a sound that fit like what you were trying to do, but nobody could make it, so you're like, I do it myself.
Hell no, I got hella fire producers.
Okay, sorry guys. Sorry.
Really, I wanted to work with acts that sonically I don't necessarily fit in as a recording artist. Okay. That was my main like motivation. I just felt like there were a lot of people I wanted to work with, but I know I could never work with because of just like the shit I make. But like, if I become a producer, like, I could just be in a lot more rooms and just exist in a lot of different roles. You know what I mean? Like, I like the idea that like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. So I don't have to be in this room, and if I can't put a verse down, like, it's like, what am I here for? You know what I mean? I like the idea of just adding more to my toolbox. And that was really my main motivation.
That's very real. I like that. I like when people are trying to just sharpen themselves. Like, I'm doing this thing, and you think, oh, you're just trying to, like, nah, like, it makes me better. That's really the only reason I'm doing it.
And it's one of the things that, like, my perspective on aging has changed. Like, at 23, I was really fucking scared, and just like, I saw time coming for me. And my perspective has changed because I realized I have all this time to learn cool ass shit, like things I didn't even. Cause we started really kind of get into video editing last year, because we were putting this together. Always sort of not a tangent interest, but like just sort of out to the side. I was like, yeah, making videos, that shit could be cool. And I realized I got the time to do it. Yeah. Like I can, if I want to dedicate a year of my life, like I understand the implications of that. Like I feel confident like throwing a year at something, where when I was first starting, the idea of like, you're gonna have to do this for 3 years before you're even like,
was intimidating.
Yeah. And now I'm like, fuck it. Oh, it's only 2 years to get good at that? Fine, sign it up. And
rapping. For me, rapping was something that I was just like, fuck it. Like, I know if I get good at it, this will sharpen me in all these other places. So I was like, why not? You know?
I feel that because, like, I think that was why I didn't start making beats before I did, because I was worried about, I was just like, you know, the people I have around me, it's just, I'm never going to be this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, these people are like, you know, generational talents. Like, you know what I mean? So I was looking at it like that. And I was also just like, like, maybe that's just not me. But I always knew I had the inclination. Niggas always told me, like, you can make beats. So it was really just like making that step and just being, I feel like with starting anything, you just gotta be okay with being ass.
Very true.
You gotta be okay with being ass for a long time. And that was my motivation. Like, okay, I'm gonna make 800 bad beats. And then like eventually, like, you know, and what I also like about production is like, I made a lot of good beats on accident. Like even when I first started, you know what I mean? Like, cause there's room for that type shit. Like, yeah, like, so I don't know. I like the journey, and that's what I appreciate.
It's all about the journey.
And realizing like how much fear dictates a lot of people's decisions, that like I'm really glad it happened. I had my first bad show like 3 weeks ago. The crowd was not fucking with me. They were not willing to work with me at all. And up until that point, I'd never really had that experience, and I was like terrified of it happening.
That's so funny, bro. I've had like 30, 40 bad shows.
And that's why I realized I'm like on the other side of it now. I'm like, literally nothing happened. Nothing bad happened. Like some people walked away and were like, I don't really know what that was, but nothing actually happened to me. Like there was like, unless you're really out there just like, I mean, like you can obviously say some shit that'll get you in trouble, but like if people don't like you, literally nothing fucking happens.
Oh, no, it's true. Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, the idea of like, I don't know. I've played hella shows. Like, you know what I mean? And they're not always good. And like, I feel like they've sharpened me though. I feel like because of all the shows I played that haven't gone my way, I'm just prepared. And I be seeing where shit is going before it goes there. Does that make sense? Like, usually by the time I get there, I know what this shit finna look like. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I appreciate about even like bad experiences.
Cause I walked in really confident. I was like, I'm gonna do all these things. I'd planned out like some crowd work I was gonna do, and like I'm gonna say that, and you toss it out there and are just met with fucking stone face, whatever, and like, fuck it. Like your only options is to go through or quit. And it was a nice little kind of microcosm of the whole thing. Is like, well, I could just stop the set, or like, fuck you. I'm gonna still, like, you're still here, you're watching. If you're not, I'm still gonna sing these songs and have some fun with it. And that's just, I don't know, that's where I've been in life recently. It's like, I'm just have a good time, because you're gonna die the same way I am, like, and you're gonna be bored the whole time.
Watch yourselves, people. All right, Dave, we've made it to the end of this interview. Like I said, man, I really appreciate you coming by here. But what we like to do here, we like to bookend things, okay? So we started off with our little freestyle opening things. That's how we're gonna end things. But we're gonna make it a little bit more interactive and fun, and, you know, draw everybody into it. You're welcome to join if you want. But
I'll do some ad-libs.
Hey, that's better. So what I'm gonna need from you though, I want you to come up with 3 words or topics that you feel like best describes this overall conversation that we've had here today. And then I'm gonna incorporate those 3 words into a little something, you know?
Confidence. Depression.
Mortality.
There we go.
The trifecta.
All right. So we think like a Lil Peep type beat or something.
Let's do Earth Gang type beat.
Earth Gang
Love
type
it.
beat. Okay.
Confidence, depression, and
mortality. Confidence, depression, mortality.
Boom. Okay. And we're gonna go find an Earth Gang type beat.
Oh.
Last time we did an Earth Gang type beat, that shit went really well. So,
okay.
How long you been around?
2019, like officially, but you know, school bus type shit. That's sort of the idea of the lunch, like of the mix table, is like trying to recreate that lunch table, just sitting around and saying whatever you come up with. But 2019 for real. Okay. Let's see. We got this one's got like 2 million plays. We'll let that go.
Too mainstream.
Shit probably hard.
Yeah.
Too many people like it, therefore I cannot like it.
Yeah. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Exactly.
All right, here we go. This produced by Lakes.
Okay, let's see what Lake's talking about. So we got some strings.
Always love a string beat. Confidence, depression, mortality.
Okay. Waiting for a beat drop.
Yeah. It's a 5-minute beat, so they
probably draw it out.
one more loop. One more loop.
All right, let's see where they go.
Hey.
All right. Okay, maybe it's gonna drop here.
It's gonna be here. This is it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Shit gonna move.
Skip.
Okay.
Don't take it personally. Whoever you were who made that beat.
Was that 2 million play beat?
Was that the
No.
Play that 2 million play
Okay,
beat.
we'll go with 2 million. Okay, here we go. JustDan. We've played stuff from JustDan before.
Shout out to JustDan.
There we go.
Okay. I'm liking this a lot.
Okay.
Confidence.
Depression.
Mortality. Hey. I should wait for the beat, but I'm not, cause I ain't got time on my feet. I'ma keep going, keep flowing, keep it cold like it's been snowing. Hey, I'ma give y'all another showing. So, hey. Oh wow, wasn't expecting.
Hey, this kind of hard though.
Hey. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Hey. All right. Yeah, I'm liking it now. Hey. Hey. When I get on these beats, they know ain't no stopping this. Cause I'm feeling myself, I'm gassed up. I got the confidence. I be coming in this, it's off the top. I'm killing the game like I work for the cops. I never could stop. I got my guitar, so I'm about to rock. I keep this thing off the top of the head. I got that tool on me like I came out of the shed. Hear the sound and all the compression. It's beating me up, it's got me down, no depression. But I keep on flexing, they know I leave them perplexed. It's so crazy, they amaze me. I'm killing it like I was Jay-Z. Where's my baby, my lady, my fiance? Got a lady, she look like Beyonce. Give a damn about what her aunt say. I'm chilling here with Chauncey. I'm fancy, I meant fancy. And they can't stand me. They gon' have to kill me. But nah, it's just me and my mortality. They trying to throw these shots at me, but I stay up, I'm way too tall. This how it is, I came to dunk on all of y'all.
Yeah. Hey. I thought it would drop. Hey, back on the top. I'm coming off straight off the top.
Hey,
dripping too hard. I need a bucket and a mop.
Hey,
go clean it up. I'm driving around in the car. Yeah, I'm going really hard. Yeah, I'm going. Hey, lost it. I found it. I brought it back.
Yeah,
I brought it back. I'm running it back. I'm stacking it up. I'm going real town. I'll go to the duck. I forgot the words that we're trying to say.
Confidence, depression, and mortality.
They can't fucking stand with me.
Ooh.
I'm dead. Hey.
How much time left we got on this beat? I'ma take my time and give these people here a speech. So listen to me speak, cause I only got a minute. But I'ma take this time up here so I can go kill it. I just grill it on the skillet. Ain't no kitchen, came in this thing, I don't need no ticket. Knock it out the park, no cricket. Over the fence, it's like a picket. See, I get it off of the ground, from the underground, straight off of the mound. It's weighing on me about a pound, ain't no ton. Do it all by myself, I took this flow right off of the shelf. Man, I swear I'm the best and it ain't no need to guess. But, and I make it good, sound fantastic. I'm chilling here at the mix table with my boy, DavidTheTragic. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Quick cameo by the moms over there. But, there it is. Well, we made it.
Nice. Thank y'all for having me.
Hey, man, thank you so much for coming by, man. Like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I'm really I just love seeing, like, you said something that resonated with me. You were like, how your friends give you confidence. I really, enjoy watching you guys' journey. You, Jelani, Kenny, just over the years, just really watching you guys progress, become more mature and understanding of what you want to do in this, and it reflects on me, too, and it gives me the confidence to keep doing this. So I really appreciate what you do, man, and I really want you to keep it up and keep going. And like I said, I thank you for coming here today. So the last thing that I have for you is just for these cameras here, let the people know what you got coming up in the upcoming future and where they can find you and your music and all that good stuff.
I go by DavidTheTragic, so you can find me on all streaming platforms. I don't know when this shit's coming out. I probably won't have anything new out by then, but I'll have some new shit out this year. I'm dropping a lot. That's my plan.
All right. Joe?
Cool. Well, you know what time it is. It's my speech at the end every time. If you liked any of the beats that you heard today, there's going to be a playlist in the description of the video, description of the podcast. All these shits had 10,000 views, 5,000 views, 100 views. Go support them. Go spend some money. You've got friends that do art. You've got friends that cook food. You've got friends that sell shirts. Go buy that shit. You want to wear designer? Your friends are designers. Go fucking buy that shit. Other than that was fun. Now what should be out by the time this episode is out. If not, it'll be out in a week. Go stream that. Go stream Bento. Go stream the first 3 seasons of this show. Go stream Dave's music. Tyrone, you've got articles. Fuck it. Just go support some people, please.
There you go. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Well, once again, I want to thank David for coming here and being our guest, and I want to thank Joe for doing what he does on the ones and twos. And more importantly, I want to thank all of you for tuning in, whether you're watching, listening, or however you could be here with us.